Let's welcome FA to the show, the Crypto Observer,
Let's go.
MC Ventures own. Dude,
Welcome, FA.
welcome, FA. Oh my God, look at this command center you got going on.
He's got the Matrix vibe right behind him, right? The music, the artistic, creative side is also visible in the background.
Yes.
This guy's a man of many talents.
I was just going to say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. This is a Renaissance man.
Yes.
This is why I love Jimmy so much. Dude, it's, you just understand the very soul of the music.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate that, FA. Thank you.
Really, I mean it. Like, really, I appreciate the effort,
Well, we had to get everything right for you, man, because, I've been really looking forward to having you on the show. So we had to get the vibe super proper today. And Zane just said you have a spaceship. So, yeah. And
it's not like a spaceship, but it's just looking like that from outside, actually. But it's not that much.
Well, it looks great.
I have seen bigger ones.
Well, I love the setup. The chat loves the setup. Firestorm looks like he loves the setup. And I just want to say thanks for taking some time out to talk to us today. It's great to have you here. So let's get started by I ask this of everybody who comes on the show. You already know this. You and I know each other, but I'm the new guy in the game, right? So I like to find out where everybody else is coming from when they come on the show. How you got into crypto, how you got connected with MC Ventures, and just kind of like your story, man. You know what I mean? We want to hear the FA Crypto Observer story over here.
Okay, it's long. I will try to keep it short, but like back in, I don't know, 2014 or 15 maybe.
Sure.
I bought some rides in World of Warcraft with Bitcoin without even knowing it. They said, okay, we are selling this with Bitcoins. Okay, I said, where should I buy it? They pointed me out somewhere. I don't even remember. I bought some Bitcoins, traded it, and then forgot everything inside. I think I should still have something like maybe...
What year was this again?
Something for end of 14 or something like that. It should be.
Wow.
Yeah. Then I totally forgot everything I have. Then after like 2 years, when it was getting a little bit more popular, I decided to, just take a look at that. Then I met with Bitcoin and then Ethereum, actually. My first crypto was Ethereum, not Bitcoin, technically. Okay. Crypto, not a currency. Sure. not an in-game currency.
Yeah.
After that point, I was just a curious guy who likes, computers, softwares,
sure,
and everything. Then I decided to, look into that. Then after some time, I was just observing, like my name. This is why I'm observer.
Right.
I looked at the markets. Then after some point, I involved with Muhabbit because actually Squanch, Aytunç, founder of it, actually dragged me into it because he was my college mate. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I kind of started working with them in like maybe 2018.
Sure.
In the bear market, actually, we started to build. Then after some point, we decided to create the MC Ventures and make the investments. And now we are here, just trying to do the best for the ecosystem.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Well, it's definitely great to have you here, and you've been a great, source of knowledge for me since I came in the game. So,
thanks, man.
And yeah, man, for sure. So,
I
know Firestorm. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
You've been around a while, man. I have a lot of questions, and a lot of these questions I think are stuff that people are thinking about, but they don't really know who to ask. And I feel like you're going to be like the perfect guy, right? You have the pulse of the entire entire ecosystem, right? Obviously an Avalanche, but also non-Avalanche communities as well. And like, I think the number one question in everybody that still remains in the ecosystem that they have in their head is, how long do you think it's going to go? Do you see a lot of project activity? Are you seeing a lot of builders, or has it died down? Do you see a lot of investing activity? Like, what's your general read of where we are with respect to the bear, and how much longer do you think we have? I obviously know you can't predict the future, but we would love to hear your opinion, because you probably see a much wider sort of, you have a better perspective than most people, because you talk to so many people and you have so much access to the general community.
Okay, then I'm gonna try to explain the perspective that I have right now. So the bear markets are always like that. We already saw this kind of situation before in the last bear markets, and the only really passionate people remains in the ecosystem. And this is why, this is my general perspective, by the way. There can be any other variables in the equation, but most of the good projects are built or continuing to building in the bear market. That's 100% true. And what I see is some projects are struggling right now because of the FTX fallout, because of some other reasons, because of their runways and their treasury diversifications. But what I see is, especially in the Avalanche ecosystem, most of the projects are well covered as a runway in their runways. And besides that, most of the builders are really mean to build. They are just focused on the thing.
Right.
And this is why I think most of the projects, just my advice would be, just look at the projects. If they are still trying to give you something as a product, I don't know, some new features or something like that, that means these people are serious, and these people are builders. And just trust the builders, not anyone else, just the builders. Because crypto ecosystem is not about cryptocurrencies or any currencies. It's about the product.
Right.
It is making the life much more easier for every aspect. So just look at that, whatever it is. It can be a DeFi project, NFT project, gamify project, whatever it is. If they are still building, they are serious about it. And what I see from the other perspectives, there are multiple projects suffered from the FTX. There are so many people in the ecosystem, for builders, suffered. It's bad, I know that, but this is how bear market narratives built. This is another bear market narrative, and I don't think it will be, just that. We will see much more, maybe stronger narratives in the ecosystem for bear sentiments. And we just should be prepared for that. And if you have hopes, I'm here to break it. Because, can you see that? Bear inside.
Oh.
So I'm here to break you guys.
You think it will take longer than where we are? Because we've been, I guess, in a sort of downtrend since what, March, April, sometime like that. And you think it's gonna extend to longer than this?
I think it's gonna be much longer than usual expectation, because this is why usual expectation. The market is never trending according to the usual expectation. This is why I'm not expecting it. I would love to see that. I'm wrong, but I think in some point people are gonna just give up. Like,
sure,
and after that point, the real rally begins. Then everything will be green again. But we need really solid people who trusts not on cryptocurrencies, on the Web3, on crypto, on the technology. This is why we always say that, in the memes, we are here for the technology. And
right.
like, we seriously mean that. We are here for the technology.
Well, it's interesting too, because I was reading that a lot of younger people that were previously invested in crypto, at least here in the US, are now investing their money more in like gambling websites. You know what I mean? So I feel like what you're saying is kind of resonates a lot, especially what we're doing over at Dexalot, because, we're trying to make the user experience as streamlined as possible and like actually fun. You know what I mean? So I think that's a huge thing, because people go to sports gambling because they see it as an easy thing that's like they are having fun with. You know what I mean? And so I feel like if we keep pushing our fun levels and making our UI super slick and easy to use, that'll bring some people back. And yeah, exactly, man. Just got to keep building.
I know that people will be here. I know that, but right now, that's all.
I mean, it's kind of funny. I actually saw this. I think Squanch tweeted this actually. Like, there are specific trends and villains and heroes of each cycle, right?
Yeah.
The original cycle was Satoshi Nakamoto. Then came the Justin Trons and this and that. Then came the SPFs. And the most important thing I think everybody needs to remember is, markets continue to evolve. Like, they don't end at a specific point. People, when they're down bad, they feel like everything is over. It's done. Right. But really, the sun still rises the next day, right? And it's very important to focus on like the goal. Keep the eyes on the prize at all times if you're a project, right? Ultimately, you decided to build the project because you believed in its usefulness or its ability to cover a problem or whatever that may be, right? And there is a good chance that problem or that reason didn't change just because prices went down, right? Bitcoin was at $0 and it's now at like 10,000 and some change. I know 10,000 sounds like, oh my God, the world has ended to most people, but it's 10,000 more than zero, right? If we're talking prices, like it's still standing. We don't know what's going to happen to all these other companies that are supposedly going to fail, but doesn't matter. The tool itself is there. I guess in that vein.
But I think the most important thing is remaining in the ecosystem, because that makes you a builder, actually. Even if you are not building something,
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Just as a community member, you can actually helping the teams to build something. And I can easily say that without the people in here, like literally listening to us right now, we cannot survive as Dexalot or any other team. Without the community, projects are nothing, especially in crypto. And besides that, I can like literally promise everyone this. If you are here and listening to this show in the middle of bear market, guys, you are gonna make it. You are gonna make it.
As long as you're still around at the end, you're gonna make it, right? I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And shout out to our chat, man. Speaking of community, just got to give a huge shout out to the chat.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely.
Always appreciate you guys. Cheers.
Now, I have a curveball for you, FA. This is something that's been, that I've been struggling with for a long time. Now, FTX and SBF, they managed to raise an insane amount of money from venture capitalists as well as well-established, more institutional investors, if you will. How do you think all these people failed on due diligence? Like, what made them invest? I know that, obviously Dexalot itself has done a token raise and various other projects, and it's not an easy thing. There's a lot of hard questions being asked, and people, look at you 6 ways from Sunday, right? They look at, everything, your background, your plans, your current so far build, your traction, yada, 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 yada. How did SBF, in your opinion, managed to get money from so many people while being this sort of aggressive of a fraud. If you look at how FTX is being operated, the stuff that they built is literally air, right? Like they have a nice shell, but the inside is empty, not just money, processes, technology. And the guy used to come out and say, our technology is by far the best, etc. Like, how did they survive so long, and how do you think they bypassed all the due diligence type stuff?
Okay, I have two opinions. I will keep one to myself, but
when you say that, you can't, bro. You gotta share, man.
Nah, you gotta.
We gotta hear the spicy stuff. We don't care about the same.
You're on the hot seat now.
Okay, that's a hard question, but I think the first one could be it was because of the shut. Did you see the scheme that they built? I think there was over, I don't know, maybe 300 shell companies, connected with each other with, some service agreements, some, legal shit. And everything is just so complicated when you are dealing with some of the entities, let's say, and let's say they are raising money. They are just bringing you up the other partners that they have or the agreements that they have with the other shell companies, and everyone just listens to them. This is we saw that, and actually we did some of these stuff that I'm going to tell you. At a certain point, when a company, let's call that X company, reaches a high level of reputation, the minor companies are just following that. Okay, let's say if MC Ventures is invested, we are trusting their due diligence, and we are okay to invest in you guys. And we did that. Literally, I won't name the project, but it came from Alameda, and we invested in. Besides, we in the first place, we rejected them. After that, we accepted them and invested in them. And then they failed. This is a mistake that we made, and we lost our own monies, not any customers' money. Right. So that's maybe number one. And the two is just crazy.
Is it a hot take? Is it a hot take, Efe?
No, actually, everyone is just trying to mimify that with some logic, but the perspective of this, American government does something with FTX, then Caroline with Gensler and everything, dude. It's just too complicated. Right. Possible? Yes. Is it possible? Yes, it's possible.
I think it's a big side effect of Federal Reserve fueled extreme bull market, right? Like you have so much money in the system that there is way too many. So like imagine if retail had so much money to pump crypto to the levels it came to, imagine how much money big institutional players have to put it to some place, because every single one of these players have investors demand numbers, and to do numbers, especially if you're a big Sequoia level VC, you have to invest somewhere. And if a project comes with serious referrals, whether it's Gensler or whatever, Caroline's parents who have connections to here, there, whatever that may be, right. Due diligence seems to have gotten suspended. And
this is why, this is like in the first example. Let's say it's just a scenario. Gensler says, okay, this is a nice company for FTX, and some big name invests in it, then everyone just follows it. That's all. It's an avalanche effect.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I don't think it's going to happen now, and I feel like the big side effect of this debacle, like this entire sort of blow up, has been not just prices going down, but also real credible projects that are building now have a significantly harder time raising money, because right now everybody decided that everything they invest into is going to lose money. when in reality, my perspective is now is the time you distinguish properly, properly built teams, like people with experience, people with smarts, people with vision, and then people with products, people with a clear roadmap of delivery or a track record of delivery. And right now is the time to invest in
to build.
Ambition to build.
And people with integrity.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously that's a given. But like, I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to lose a lot of cool things in this market because some people who actually have great ability to deliver and build and come up with innovation are going to break, and they're going to have to go back to some sort of okay, I'm going to go get an easy salary type job, or maybe their lives are going to require that, right? So I'm sort of saddened by that the most, because now everything is cheap. Now is the better time to invest versus what we're actually observing in the market. Nobody's investing into anything, right? And we asked Lydia last week, and she was also hinting to the same, right? Like people are a lot more conservative, when in reality, as Warren Buffett, normally says, be aggressive when things are down, be conservative when things are super up. But anyways, I thought that was interesting. No, where do we go from here, man? What do you think? What markers should we look at for when things are getting better? What's going to be the early indicators, in your opinion? Generally.
Before we go there, can I ask both you guys? Because like I'm obviously like you guys are vets in the game. I'm the new Jack. So here's my question to you both: is the bottom in? And if not now, when?
Oh, bro. Well, I mean, why don't I just give you a price prediction on a token of your choice?
Yeah, can you guys predict the future for me? I need you to make it happen, please. Get the crystal ball out, whatever it takes.
I definitely will, but I will only DM it to you if you give me your 24-word secret key. That's my only requirement, buddy. For that level of financial advice.
Your own personal financial advisor.
Yeah.
I'll
manage your finances for you, man.
Come on, it's me. Guys, it's me. Come on.
Yeah.
It's me. It's just
bro, if anybody knew the exact answer to that question, they probably would have already used that level of ability to predict things and stop worrying about doing anything at all. I feel like that's a difficult question. I wouldn't be able to answer, but I'll let FA take a crack at it.
In the first part, this is my personal expectation, let's say, but bottom is not in. I'm expecting a little lower than this, maybe more. But as a side note, my last prediction in the last bear market was not correct too. So
sure, yeah.
It's I may fail epically, but this is what I think. But besides that, guys, this is not Sam's fault. This is what I was going to actually tell. Besides every other people, because I think everyone is blaming Sam about what happened. It's not to. I think he is not to blame, because Berk, you are working with Dexalot team for a long time, and some entity came to you and said something like, "Hey guys, we have FTT, our own token, and we are gonna give you this as a collateral and get some USDC from you." Would you accept it or not?
Traditional financial companies who need very strict credit risk models would not. But in crypto, obviously the lenders did. But I think the issue goes beyond that, to be honest with you. That's the sort of end result of what we're seeing, right? I think like the Luna situation was crazier. Like, Luna team would go into meetings and say, "What can you guys do for us today?" Right? That's the sort of level of hubris they were like operating with. And they basically printed money out of thin air, and then they didn't have liquidity to cover it. Obviously banks operate a similar model, by the way. Banks have, I'm going to make it up, $10 worth of deposits, and they have to hold $3 worth of cash on hand to manage that liquidity. And this is a regulated thing. Luna did it with $0.5 for the same amount of liabilities, right? And really, the surprising thing to me there is like how, the governments and the people that normally print money sort of, let that happen. And I think that's where like the level of greed kicked in and triggered all these CFI, centralized finance type people to create these crazy structures and allow people like Alameda and FTX to abuse them. Like in reality, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like those lenders who took FTT, which FTX itself created out of thin air without real utility as collateral. But the reason I feel like is they took that as collateral because prior to FTT, there were many examples of these things having and holding meaningful value. And in reality, I guess the only truly time-tested thing that holds value or held some value, I would say, is like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and now the alternative L1s to a certain degree. Even those are very depressed, right? And again, I think it's the sort of side effect of the raging bull market, man. People had no place to put their money. Inflation is rampant, and people had to put it into these super exotic, super volatile assets and make their prices go up to a certain number. But anyways, interesting times that we're living. But I think now the issue that we faced has been large enough that we really expect real regulation to come in. What do you think about that? Do you think regulators are going to step in now, or do you think it's still going to take years? What's your view?
It may take years, like gradually, let's say it may take years, but I think it's sooner than the expected because when we are in the bull market, everyone was talking about the regulations, like not just in Turkey, in a global scale, in most of the countries, let's say. But after the bull market, and when you expect a regulation, you are expecting it in the bull market because everyone is making money. So we were expecting it actually in the bull market, but when the bear comes with a sad incident of Luna, they didn't take any action actually in the first event, in the Luna event, and I said, okay, then they are not regulating anything.
But the people that lost the most amount of money in Luna are like the big speculating, funds, right? Like the likes of 3AC and whatnot. Now, people that truly lost money, sure, investors lost money and whatnot, but investors are separate. In the case of FTX, actual retail client funds are lost. And those are the types of people that, when they lose money, it's significant effect on their life. And they're more likely to go lobby their representatives in whatever government they belong to push for the regulation. I think, unfortunately, in the world we live in, during the bull market, people are going to think about how do we tax this thing? How do we make money for the governments? And those types of discussions take forever. But when it's actual people losing money, then it creates an opening for politicians to say, I saw what happened there. I'm going to go and regulate this and protect you. And it becomes a, platform from which they can get elected. So I think that's why bad events are more polarizing and they have more ability to propel people into office to regulate. So I feel like, it's just the unfortunate side effect of how politics and legislation works.
I totally agree on this. And, about the retail, just to consider the size, the FTX fallout is, expected to be between $8 billion to $10 billion. And according to last data, just correct me if I'm wrong, the 30 biggest account holders balance sheet is above $5 billion. So the rest is actually retail, maybe some more entities, but retail is just 1 or 2 billion. I don't know. It can be solved much more easier than the other entities, especially first 30, let's say. But in about that, it's creates more, I don't know, a complicated scenario, because let's say I invested in something, let's call it MC, and MC invested my money to FTX. Dude, it's just bullshit, and it's getting complicated much, in a much mind-twinkling way, and you cannot solve that. And I'm not expecting any return. By the way, I lost money on FTX too, but I don't have any hope. Yeah, I don't have any hope to get it back, because it's
as like trading customer funds, right? Customer funds. I mean, not like that's the type of thing that's completely unacceptable. It's like, bro, those guys are not supposed to be like taking the money and like doing stuff with it, right? Like, it's unbelievable to me the audacity with which they operated that business, like the level of disregard for reputation, and the guys are still walking around. It's really crazy times that we live in.
Yeah, and they literally tweeted that we are just taking the custody of it. We are not doing anything of the customer money or something like that. They tweeted it, like literally they said it.
The craziest thing I've actually seen was that the FTX wiring instructions for fiat ability to accept money were apparently a bank account that belonged to Alameda, which is a legally separate entity. So deposits into FTX from bank system would go to Alameda, and then Alameda would give it to may or may not, we don't really know, I guess, right, would give it to the exchange, right? Which I thought was mind-boggling. Yeah. But I mean, look, these are openings for builders like Dexalot to fix, in my opinion, right? Ultimately, these are the things that humankind is best at learning. Yes, it's painful, but you learn from it and you come out of it stronger, right? And that's why projects like Dexalot are around. Once we solve the other things that people expect out of exchange experiences, like I think decentralized finance should become the model through which people exchange assets.
Oh, transparency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Fa, before you go, man, I got to ask you two questions, okay? First one, will you come back to the show and hang out with us in your Spaceship Command Center and talk about markets more? We'd love it if you came back.
I will be glad. That's a promise. I will be back. I don't know when, but
you and I got to do a
I will be back.
We got to do a competition for the best hair in crypto.
Oh, dude,
Jimmy, you got no chance, bro. Look at this guy's hair. It's
I don't know, man.
Perfect and dreamy. He like literally walked off like a TV show set to be here just to talk to us for an hour. Then he's gonna go shoot a, I don't know what kind, like probably like a detective, series.
Bro, if I was, wearing a hat or something like that, you would be the dreamy guy in here.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, Firestorm's always the dreamy guy in here. There's no question.
I appreciate it. I'm open to dates. I'll gladly take free food and free drinks right now because we're in a bear market. So
that's what I'm saying.
Let me know.
Same.
That's a
guys. Best hair in crypto competition. Should we get a chat? What do you guys think? Chat? Should we get it popping? What do you guys think? No, I'll put my hat back on. So. My second question, Fa, I know you have great taste in music. And the reason I know that is because we put an awesome 80s jam on one of our videos a while back. And you were like, what is this song? And I was like, oh, that's a banger. Fa knows a banger when he hears it. So I need a request from you for when I jump back on the turntables. You don't have to think of it right now, but if you would send a song request to John, he will send it to me. And we'll get it, and I'll play it for you in the mix when I jump back on the turntable. So
okay, awesome.
If you got it right now, cool. If not, just send it to John, and I'll throw it in the mix for you. Yeah,
I will think about it.
All right, cool, man. That's perfect.
Okay.
Guys, this has been Fa from MC Ventures, the crypto observer himself, the man, the myth, the legend. It's been an honor to have you on the show, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for coming, dude. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
Always, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.